From the high desert southwest and an indiscreet shave den located in the deep recesses of Ouch's basement, broadcasting north from McMurdo Sound to Ice Station Zebra and east and west across all time zones to our members throughout the world, this is Badger and Blade Radio. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be on this big blue rock we call home, and welcome to Badger and Blade Radio. I'm your host, Skypsyd, and we trust that all of our members, their family, and friends had a wonderful, safe, filling, and relaxing Thanksgiving holiday. On deck for this episode, we have news and events around BadgerandBlade.com, our exclusive vendor spotlight interview with Phil from Bullgoose Shaving, as well as part one of our member spotlight interview with DangerousDon. We will also have our new segment, Mail Call, as well. So sit back, relax, and we'll be back right after these messages.
There was a time when babies had a great life. The softness of their skin got them all their mom's attention. Then one day, fathers discovered a special weapon. From now on, fathers and sons can fight on equal terms. Men can now take revenge and win back their wives.
3, 2, 1. His mind is ready, his expression is sweat is steady. He never thought he'd come to this, never knew just how heavy. The pain, the shame, doing the same old same. The aim, the game, reaching the hall of fame. Clashing on the mic, flashing lights in his face, bashing in the fight, smashing on the beat. His fat bass, it's not funny. He takes his craft as serious as ever. He works on the art as he grows even faster.
To get their moms back, there's no choice but to fight.
The eye of the kitten, slapping steaks in the kitchen. Off beat, no flow, nothing but nothing.
Fight for kisses.
Welcome back to the show, and we appreciate you sticking with Badger and Blade Radio this post-Thanksgiving airing. We'd like to open up our new segment called The Mail Call. This segment will be posted in the video forum library about a week or so prior to our next airing, so that way you can ask questions for answering on the air, comments, and things that you would like to see. We will do our best to try to get to most of those in our mail call segment. This post-Thanksgiving show, well, we wanted to give people an opportunity to tell us what they were giving thanks for. And our first comment comes from Graybeard. I'm thankful for the safe haven that is B&B. This is a refuge from the stormy world outside, and there is no other place like it online. Bruce, we certainly appreciate your comments. And from Adam, Keen Dog, comes, I'm thankful for being alive and getting to have family and friends and a nice close shave. Thanks once again, Adam. And from CB Lindsay, you know this is going to be good. I'm thankful my drama ain't nothing like the other people's drama, and joys are as good or better than most. I am thankful, I think, of the depth B&B has brought to my shave down, or as my wife puts it, my man hobby. I guess she's seen the movies where 40-something guys go and get a sports car and a bikini model because he's having a midlife crisis. She must think soap, steel, and animal hair is better deal for me, and for her. If she only knew I could have bought a sports car with what I've spent so far. Thank you, Chris. We certainly appreciate that. And from Quink comes, regarding the money spent, sure, you could have bought that sports car, but you skipped the bikini model. I doubt those models would put up with much of our hobby and acquisition disorders. My better half just laughs now when I get a new mail call in. She has 3 or 4 perfumes in her den, and I have a few more than that. But she pretty much said the same thing regarding the midlife crisis, and is happy that nowadays I don't look as scruffy as I used to. That's how she got to know me. B&B has been a real safe haven for me, great people all around, and none of the craziness in here that has possessed the rest of society. It is truly a very unique place in the world, and I'm very glad to be a part of it. I now enjoy my shaving time on here, and I think that I can say I have a more kind way of being a gentleman and more gentlemanly behavior in general, and it does rub off. Well, I guess it's back to work. Thanks, guys, especially Dave, for all the effort of the radio show, and the stewards and mods for keeping things running the way it is. Well, we certainly thank you, Quink, and I thank you so much for the comments as well. And from Rock Viper, wasn't Thanksgiving in October? Well, we wanted to give Sam a chance, so we asked Sam, okay, Sam, what were you thankful for in October? And he responded, vacation, Italy, Greece, and Turkey. And from C. Vargo, this holiday season, I am truly grateful and thankful for my family, wife, and friends. I am thankful for being able to provide my family a roof over their head, and that I can have enough extra disposable income to use on my wet shaving hobby. I am also thankful that a lot of people on this site, even though we have never met in person, I can call you friends. I am also thankful for my unborn daughter, who is due on April 28th, and I'm also thankful for this wonderful country I live in, and all of the people who have served this country to keep my family free, and I thank God every day for everything that I have. Well, we certainly thank you, Chad, and we are thankful that you are a member of Badger and Blade. From Clyde72 comes, I'm thankful for a nice face cleansing prep and a hot towel applied to the face, a nice slick lather applied with the perfect brush, and a sharp edge, be it blade or straight, gliding across your face, yielding the perfect BBS shave, followed by the application of your favorite post-shave products. I mean, is there any better way to start your day? Well, Clyde, I think 99.9% of the people on this site would agree with you, and we certainly thank you. From Cash Astronomer, B&B brought me not only into the cool shaving world, but photography. Always an interest, always took pictures, but never brought a real camera and gave photography a try. I may even wander into threads I have not yet bothered, as I may have to learn how to casually dress for business. Blue jeans, t-shirts, and Converse All-Stars since I was a kid. Now I find myself more and more involved in an office world. I hate to say I have no idea how to dress myself, but I suppose that's not the dumbest thing someone said today. I hope. Alex2363 was asking me about some recipes from Puerto Rico, and we discussed that as well. And from Grey Dog, Steve, he says, Dave, thank you for the time you must spend putting each broadcast together. Great job. Going to put a tag on my signature. Everybody should listen. Well, Grey Dog, we certainly thank you for that. We do it out of fun and to, expose the website to a little bit more people in different parts of the forum. So we thank you for that. And from Major Rich, this year I'm thankful for a circle of men who share much more than an interest in shaving. We share a bond of friendship that transcends the world. For the love of a faithful cat who sees to it that I shave regularly. For a lovely wife of 30 years who keeps me disciplined. And for being retired so I don't have to face everything on a daily basis anymore. Rich, we certainly thank you for that. And from SDM84, this Thanksgiving is special for my family because my wife, who has been waiting for a kidney, received her miracle on November 21st. We got the call at 9 p.m. on the 20th, and we're out the door with only clothes on our backs for the 4-hour drive to the transplant center. Although this has caused great upheaval in our life, having to relocate to Miami for a month or more, and me taking on an extended leave from my job to be with her, I am thankful to God for the amazing gift that we have been giving, truly a gift of life. The donor family, wherever and whoever you are, know that your son, though he is gone and too soon because of the tragic accident, and his decision to be an organ donor saved my best friend and my soulmate. Know that your precious gift has gone to allow an amazing woman to continue to bring light into everybody's light she touches. We will trust in God that the next few challenging months will be met with the same grace we were granted all these years. We promise to love each other, to have and to hold, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and health, and all the days of our lives God will provide. Please pause everyone and count your blessings this Thanksgiving Day. I would have to say that was probably the most emotionally charged, thankful that we got during this mail call, and we certainly do appreciate it. Well, that almost wraps up our mail call for this week, for this episode, I should say. We'll finish up with just saying from everyone here at Badger and Blade Radio and badgerandblade.com, we appreciate everything that you guys do each and every day. We appreciate you being members. So that'll close down the mailbag for this episode. We certainly hope you enjoyed it. And please comment and let us know what you thought of it and how we can improve it each and every day. When we get back, we'll have our exclusive vendor interview with Phil from Bullgoose Shaving. Stay with us.
This is High Karate's top secret lime orchard, where High Karate's cracked botanists have developed the only lime big enough and powerful enough to go into High Karate Oriental Lime after shave. High Karate Oriental Lime, with indispensable instructions on self-defense in every package. High Karate Oriental Lime. Be careful how you use it.
Welcome back to Badger and Blade Radio, and as part of our continuing series of vendor spotlight interviews, we're extremely excited to have Phil from Bullgoose Shaving. How are you this evening, Phil?
I'm doing well.
Great. Now, we see that you opened in 2009. Now, did this start as a part-time business, or was it full-time right off the bat? And what did you do before Bullgoose Shaving Supplies?
Well, the long answer to that, I guess, is prior to Bullgoose Shaving, I was working in college administration at Pasadena City College, but I left that to go into real estate, got my real estate broker's license, and was trying to make a go of that without any success. I couldn't get any traction in it. Actually worked for 1 year teaching middle school, and that was as much motivation as I needed to find something else. While I was doing that, I had joined Badger and Blade and was selling things in the buy-sell trade. I'd get a vintage razor, and if it was something that I didn't like, I would flip it. And so at a certain point, it became more than just selling the occasional razor, but it wasn't really a business yet either. So I guess I started out not necessarily part-time at it, but dipping my toes. And, probably about a month into it, I decided to jump in with both feet, started the website, and went at it full-time.
Well, and obviously with the competition, what made you decide to get into the wet shaving retail space, seeing the large amount of competition there is? Now, maybe in 2009 there wasn't quite as much, but obviously today, it seems like a pretty full retail space. And what was the onus behind you getting into it?
Well, when I got into it, actually, there wasn't a whole lot of players involved. There was maybe 5 vendors that you could think of, and this was before Amazon was involved in wet shaving. So it was a little bit easier to get into the business back then.
Do you think now? What have you?
Lost my train of thought.
That's
Go
okay.
ahead.
Now? What have you seen in the industry since 2009 that has really surprised you?
There's been a few things that have surprised me. I mean, one is the explosion of artisan products, and it started with all of the soaps. Every time you would turn around, there'd be a new artisan soap cropping up, but that market has expanded where it's not just soaps now. It's soaps, it's aftershaves, it's shaving brushes, and actually razors as well. So there's been a huge explosion in new micro manufacturing, I guess you would say.
Sure.
So that surprised me. I also was a little bit surprised that Amazon has gotten into it as much as they have. They used to carry a few things back in 2009, but now pretty much everything that you can think of, Amazon has a part of it as well.
Now, does your store operate like a regular storefront retail, or is it strictly web?
It's strictly web. So for a while, I was. So I've got a commercial space, and I did allow in-store pickups, but now I'm busy enough packing orders that it is just too difficult, unless I was to hire some help, to have people coming in while I'm doing that. I was finding that I wasn't able to get my stuff done.
Well, and I also think that if you look at the way buying trends are, more and more brick and mortar places are realizing that, being a business owner myself, when you have a brick and mortar, you've got the rent to pay, you got the lights to pay, you got the utilities to pay, and that all cuts into the margin, that you're making a profit. And when you find that, most retail buyers now, a good large percentage of them are buying strictly online, and and it makes sense that if you can spend your money on a website that looks just as good as a storefront, allows people to shop at their leisure 24 hours a day rather than during regular business hours. So it does make sense, and I would imagine that it's probably a minefield with all the different products that are coming out on a daily basis on choosing what products to carry in your line.
Definitely. Yeah, it's always a challenge. I mean, you get a lot of suggestions from customers to carry this line or that line, but when you look into it, a lot of times, really to be representative of the line, it is a mind-boggling number of products that you would be adding, probably 150 or 200 products, and you have to think long and hard before you do that.
Sure, and I understand that. Now, how long have you been a member of Badger & Blade as well as a vendor on Badger & Blade?
I've been a member of Badger & Blade since 2008, and I have been a vendor since, I think, March of 2009.
Oh, so it was a pretty quick transition then.
Yeah, it was.
Now, what do you like best about the forum?
There's a lot of things. It's got a really great sense of community, and there's also just a lot of really great ideas. I get exposed to a lot of products that wouldn't get exposed to, without being a member of the forum. And, also get a lot of input from people. When I was first starting out, just learning about all of the different kinds of brushes and what characteristics you might like to look for if you're a face lather versus a bowl lather. And I've gotten some really good ideas from Badger & Blade. It was actually a member of Badger & Blade who had suggested that I come out with a two-band version of the Simpson kernel.
Sure.
And so that was called the Ishan.
Mm-hmm.
Customer's name was Ishan. I can't remember what his last name is right now. But that was back when Philip Watterson was running Simpson, and there was great latitude. You could approach him with an idea, and he was very open-minded about producing these brushes for you. So it was great. That actually is sort of what got me on the map to begin with. So I owe a lot to Badger & Blade.
Well, we appreciate you being a vendor, obviously. Now, what product lines do you carry? Not obviously not going into every single one. And do you have any new products that you would like to discuss?
Yeah, I do. So I've been focusing on some of these more obscure European brands. Savon du Milan, Donkey Milk Shaving Soap, and the whole line of their products. But in addition to the, sort of artisanal European brands, I've also been developing a single-edge razor, so the Asylum RX, which we came out with, I guess it was about a month ago or 6 weeks ago. And that's been going really well. And I'm expanding, I'm expanding the Asylum line, so I actually have a double-edge razor in the works that we hope to release in February.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, now I had purchased an RX razor from you, and the one thing that I noticed, because obviously just like any of the other products, the new trend in RX or in single edge razors seems to be just exploding. There's a bunch of different people that have it, and the one thing that I noticed about yours is the profile was much different. Not only that, but the tolerances of that, and I would imagine that because the beginnings of the RX razor actually has some history behind it, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, it was a long time coming. So yeah, I guess it was about 3-4 years ago. I had been using the Cobra Classic a lot and liked it quite a bit, but didn't really like the way that it held the blade. There was a little bit of blade play, and thought that, wow, it'd be really nice if there was a stainless steel single-edge razor that also had this nice thin head profile. So, I looked around. I found a product engineer and met with him, and sort of went over what I wanted, and we got these drawings in fairly short order. I mean, probably a month or so after meeting him for the first time, we had the drawings. But then the challenge really started, and that was finding a machine shop that could make the design. It's a fairly complex design with little nooks and crannies that makes it really, really hard to get tools in there to machine it. But I was lucky enough to find a shop last January, and was happy with the prototype that they had produced. It looked like it was, really quality machine work, and the rest is history. So we produced our first 300 of them. Just got a shipment in today, actually, and we've got another run coming right around Christmas.
Well, it seems like the timing of the razor, because as I said, I own one and use it regularly, was perfect, because it seems like the minute you place those up on your website, they're gone. Which has got to make you feel good, especially when you look as a business owner of how much time and money you've invested in putting something out, because you never really know.
No, you don't. You don't. It was a little bit of a leap of faith, and there was a time there where I almost gave up on it. I had shopped it to a couple of machine shops, and although they said that they could do it, the price that they had quoted me made it so it would have been just not practical. But with a little bit of a tweak of the design, we were able to do it at a price point that we thought that, we would be able to sell it at. And, so far we've been happy with it.
Yeah, and it's and like I said, I mean, it's built like a tank, and the thing that impressed me the most with it was the tolerances, the ease of changing the blade and stuff like that, which really seemed unique. Now, the RX razor was the first razor that I purchased in quite a long time, because I had moved to straights, a couple years back, and really, it's one of the only DESE type razors that I've experienced personally that gives almost darn near the same level of closeness that a straight does. And obviously by looking at how quickly they sell out, it looks like you've got a hit here for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the things about the wet shaving marketplace now is it seems like it's a lot more fad driven than it was 6 or 7 years ago. Mm-hmm. So when I had first started out, I mean, you could really count on your core products. You knew exactly what was going to sell.
Sure.
Now, hopefully it continues to sell, but there's always that new new, I can't talk today, the new best razor just around the corner.
Sure. Well, and I think that, that in any type of retail market space, whether that be widgets or whether that be wet shaving, there's always somebody behind the scenes that's looking at the new and the greatest. But the nice thing about, taking the time to build and to design a specific product, especially that's built out of stainless steel, is it's something that's going to stand the test of time. I mean, most of these razors are going to be here long after we're pushing up weeds, which is the nice thing about it. Now, do you have any other plans in the work besides the double edge razor? Any other product lines? And I do need to mention one thing, that you were the one that, or Bullgoose, obviously you, were the one that made me look at Saponifugio Veracino products, and now I'm hooked. I've got everything they have, including the brand new Korat razor they just came out with, and it's just an incredible product all the way around. Now, are you going to be carrying all their lines as they come out? Because I know that there's a new soap that's about to come out from SV. So as they come out, are you planning on being their distributor for quite some time?
Yeah, no, I think so. I've got a really good working relationship with Alessandro, and he actually made a soap for the Asylum line, the Colonia soap. Right. And I plan on continuing to do that. His products are definitely top notch, and they're good sellers.
Fantastic. Well, we appreciate you sharing that story. Now, is there any final thoughts that you would have to the members of Badger and Blade, including our viewers on YouTube and our podcast listeners?
I should have given that a little bit of thought. Not that I can think of right now.
Okay, no problem. Well, Phil, once again, we thank you for taking your time. We're actually taping this show pre-Thanksgiving, but it will actually air after Thanksgiving. So we want to wish you and your family the safest and happiest of Thanksgiving holidays. And we really appreciate you being a vendor on BadgerandBlade.com. I know I speak for the members when they really appreciate, because like so many of our vendors, you get involved with the members themselves. They feel like they're a part of the process. And I think from a marketing standpoint, let's face it, that's just good business.
They've provided a lot of really good ideas, and a lot of times will, contact me directly, usually through email, but sometimes through private message. And they definitely have a lot of really good ideas, and I always like to listen to them.
Well, once again, Phil, we thank you for being a part of BadgerandBlade.com. We appreciate you taking time to do this interview, and we hope they have a very good evening.
Thank you very much. You too.
After another short break, we'll be back with our candid interview and our member spotlight, part 1 of 2 with DangerousDon. We'll be right back.
Have you bought John a Christmas present yet?
Heavens, no, I can't think what to get him.
Maybe Hugh's got an idea.
I've got a terrific idea, Jane. A gift that's sure to be perfect for any man. Husband, father, brother, son. This remarkable new Schick 3-speed electric razor. 1, 2, 3 speeds. It's the first and only electric razor that lets your man shift the speed and adjust the custom comb shaving head to shave as close, as fast as he likes.
Don't men have to choose their own razors?
Not anymore. You can give this new Schick to any man. If he's got tough, wiry whiskers, he'll shift to high speed for a close, fast shave. Tender skin, he'll shift to low for a more gentle shaving action. He can even shift speeds while shaving for problem areas like the neck or upper lip.
I wonder if Bill wouldn't like one. He tried an electric razor once, but...
This gift can't miss. You can be sure of that. Your man gets a 14-day free home trial starting Christmas Day. 2 weeks to prove to himself this 3-speed adjustable razor is right for him. He'll set the speed, he'll set the head, he'll get the shave that fits his face. with the new chic 3-speed razor.
Welcome back to Badger and Blade, everybody, and we're very happy to have our next guest, DangerousDon, as our member spotlight for our last show and post-Thanksgiving show. Don, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dave, for having me. Again, this is Don from Badger and Blade.
We certainly appreciate you taking time after your Thanksgiving to be with us. And first off, how long have you been traditionally wet shaving, and how did you find out about Badger and Blade?
Well, so I'm relatively new to the wet shaving scene. I've been doing it for about 2 years now. It could be coming up on 2 years on this Christmas. It's kind of interesting because, to be honest, I never even really thought about it. The traditional wet shaving, never really even kind of knew anything about it, to tell you the truth. And it wasn't until after I started that I started to have memories of, my grandfather and, maybe my father. Sure. With the different types of, D's and the different products. But Christmas of 2014, my beautiful wife, she surprised me with in a Scally Badger hairbrush, a razor and brush stand, and a tub of Mr. Tobbs Mr. Taylor's shaving cream. And I was kind of like, well, this is interesting. So I was like, okay, so I like the way the Tobbs smelled, and I started kind of researching it a little bit, and then of course, like everyone else, you research anything on shaving, and Badger and Blade comes up. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of started reading the forum a little bit, and about a week later, I went ahead and bought a Merkur long handle safety razor, mm-hmm. and I just kind of started going to it, and first couple of weeks, I thought I knew everything. I was like, oh, this can't be so hard. And then, of course, hubris is very costly when you're talking about shaving, right?
Well, it's amazing how that big, wide, black hole that you didn't see all of a sudden opens up, and the next thing you know, you're falling down into shavedom.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the funny thing is too is that like I said before, it's like I didn't have any recollection of traditional wet shaving. And then all of a sudden I started getting into this, and I was like, oh yeah, my grandpa, he had a ton of like Avon aftershaves, mm-hmm. all the fancy cars, and
sure.
Things like that. And it's like I started to remember like little things, the little razor dispensers in the walls, mm-hmm. when I was a kid and stuff like that. So it's just amazing how it was always there, and I just didn't realize it. But I'll tell you what, started doing it, and I'm definitely not turning back.
Well, the funny thing is I think that our relatives, my parents have both passed away, but even our grandfathers and stuff are probably up in heaven looking down at us going, can you believe this, George? He paid $23 for an Avon bottle that I got for $0.25. And it's just amazing. Now, do you have any preferences in software, hardware, brushes, and so forth?
Yeah. So, we're going through the progression that is wet shaving, I guess. I know some people kind of jump into things, and other people kind of gradually, work their way into other products and stuff. And I guess I was kind of like that. I kind of gradually worked my way into things. So I initially really liked some of the creams. I loved, and I still do to this day, the Taylor Volt Bond Street mm-hmm. stuff, because I think their scents are just really, really incredible. But lately, though, I'd say probably the past year, I've really become appreciative of soaps. I'm definitely a soap guy as opposed to a cream guy now. And then I exclusively face lather unless for some reason I'm sampling something, then I'll bowl lather. But I love to face lather because it just, for one, it just feels really, really good on my face and my skin, and then I can just get my lather just perfect by doing that. I'm more of a stiff brush guy as opposed to a floppy brush. And then as far as razors and blades go, I like mine a little on the aggressive side, but not too aggressive.
Well, and I think what happens too is I know that, going back to what we were talking about the big hole falling into, there are a few of us, well, probably more than a few of us, that get a lot of joy out of enabling people. And I'll bring up one little subject that you had made a very quick mention about loving coconut and sandalwood. And I grabbed onto that, and I'll let you tell the rest of the story, because it was kind of neat how that whole thing progressed.
Yeah, so it was kind of funny because on the forums, I tend to try to think of different things to talk about and to post my opinions. And I don't want to say I'm eclectic or anything like that, but I'm my wife likes to call me a little left of center. So I tend to be just on the periphery of the mainstream, or what everyone is trying to talk about, but I don't want to venture too far off the beaten path. So, but it was kind of funny though, because my wife came home one day with a candle from Bath and Body Works, and it was coconut sandalwood, and I loved that smell. That scent was just, I was like, how can I melt this and pour it all over my body, right? Okay, not to get too graphic here, okay, right? We're supposed to be PG, huh?
Exactly.
So, but I did. I just loved that scent, and so I posted it and say, hey, I really wish I could, we had a scent like this, and next thing you know, you're chiming in like, hey, we've got this vendor over here that she might be willing to do something, and you kind of went with it, and sure enough, through lots of talk about it and lots of discussion, and I think it wasn't quite a year, but it was about 6 months or so.
Yeah, about 6 months.
And about 6 months or so, and sure enough, we have coconut sandalwood, and it's kind of funny now, because it's like now I'm starting to see more than just one vendor with coconut sandalwood, and it's like, wait a second, was that my idea? Am I a trendsetter?
I think you are, and I think that leads me into my next question. But I think everybody on Badger and Blade, I think they have this hidden thing that they love to help people. Number one, number two, they love to see other people spend money. That's another thing they like to see.
Yes.
And to me, that's obviously you being a former steward as well. That's what we do, is we look for different things that will make the boards more enjoyable. And so that leads me into, what do you like best about BadgerandBlade.com?
Yeah, there's a lot about Badger and Blade that I love. I love the people. I love even the leadership of it. I love the way it's formatted, but it's really hard to just kind of pin down that one or two things that you just love about Badger and Blade. But to be honest, if I had to kind of categorize into two different things, it'd be the camaraderie and the kindness of the members. So previously, I'm a veteran, and I've spent a good bit of my time in the military. I was in active duty in the Marine Corps, and I was also in the National Guard. Got deployed and all this other stuff, and those military bonds are really, really strong, and it really is a brotherhood. But Badger and Blade is not far behind that. And I know it sounds ridiculous, because you got a bunch of people that you've never met. If you've talked to them, it's on the phone.
Sure. Sure.
And those are just very, very few and far between too. And so you have. And I think the last time I checked, the membership is up to something like 75,000. But it just seems like everyone on here has this common feeling, this soul that's just kind of, all one collective almost. Where the Borg, I guess, for the Star Trek guys. But it's just this camaraderie, and then the other thing is just the kindness of the members. I don't know, Adam from Eve or anything like that on here, but the one theme that follows everyone is just kindness. People are willing to offer advice or to pitch in gear, to someone that's never, doesn't have any, or, help out a fellow person, member, in the times of need, and, things like that. And so it's just really amazing that the kindness of all these strangers. And I guess those are the things that I love best about Badger and Blade.
Well, I think, because obviously that I'm former military as well, and that's the one thing I think that drew me in right off the bat is it is very rarely do you find outside the military, for those folks that are listening that have never been in the military or law enforcement or anything like that, very rarely do you find a brotherhood where you completely trust that person immediately. You may not know them, you may not know their history, but you trust them immediately. And that's the one thing that I noticed is that, here are people that will send you a $300 straight razor to try out, and they don't know what you look like, they've never shaken your hand, and sometimes, like you said, they've never even talked to you, but they're willing to do that. And it's like there's this, I call it, the oasis of the internet, simply because there is this unwritten feeling that that you're going to get that razor back, that you're going to help that person. And there's nothing like this anywhere else that I've seen other than the brotherhood that people that have served in the military or law enforcement or whatever the case may be. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just really amazing. And the funny thing is that I don't think there's no expectation with, and I mean this in a good way,
sure.
From person to person. It's just, no one's expecting anything back. No one's expecting you to do your part necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
People do their part because they want to.
Right.
And it's just amazing.
Well, and I think they also, we can be middle-aged guys and act like a bunch of kids over soap. I mean, and the later on, probably after the first year, my wife Sharon is actually going to be doing an interview with some of the lady members of Badger and Blade. And the thing I think they like the most, I don't know if your wife does the same thing, but literally they'll walk by shaking their head, laughing when they go by our shaved den or closet or bathroom, whatever you want to call it, and realize that we're starting to get just to the point where we have as much stuff as they do. And my wife gets a kick out of it. Plus, she likes to smell the scents and check things out. And actually, I've gotten her into wet shaving now, and so, which is nice. Hopefully, she's not listening, which means I can buy stuff and and say, "Hey, this is for you, but I bought this for me as well." So
right. No, that's hilarious. So my wife, Rochelle, she hasn't quite started the wet shaving yet. I think I've convinced her to, like, the next time she shaves her legs to let me lather up one of my soaps for her and all that. But I'm still working on it. But it is funny though, because yes, I'm proselytizing my own wife. So it is funny though, because it's like, my wife will go into, so we have two bathrooms in our house, and the master bathroom, from our master bedroom, and then we kind of have our guest bathroom, which
sure.
is a fully functional bathroom. And I've kind of moved into the guest one because I get up a little bit earlier than her, and
sure.
I treat my shaving like moments of Zen, I guess. So, time for me to clear my head, prepare for the day, that kind of thing. Go off into battle.
Sure.
What have you. But every now and then she goes in there to do something, and she'll open up a drawer and she's like, "What is this? Where did you get this? How much was it?" This kind of, and so and then she'll open up the linen closet and she's like, "You got another shelf? I can't believe that." And so, yes, I thoroughly understand.
Well, and I got kicked out of our master bathroom, and now I've got my shaved closet, which is our second bathroom. And it's so funny because we'll have guests come over and they'll walk into that bathroom and they'll look and they'll see, racks full of brushes, racks full of soaps, my straight razor cases, my DEs, and they're like, "This looks like a barber shop." And I said, "Well, it's either a barber shop or a house of horrors, whichever way you look at it." But that kind kind of leads me into the next thing, talking about your house and stuff like this. And I know this, this may bring up some tough memories, and it may be a little bit hard to discuss, but you had started a thread after the devastating floods in your area, and you were very much, right in the middle of it and affected by it. But if you could kind of let the members know, because I know a lot of the members have been following that thread since the very beginning. They've been saying a lot of positive things. But can you kind of walk us through it for those of us that have never been through that type of major disaster, what it was like?
Yeah, sure. And first and foremost, though, I gotta say thank you to all the kind words that people have posted and spoken to me, and it really has been encouraging, just to know that there's someone out there that really cares. So I just wanted to, first and foremost, I just wanted to put that out there and say, thank you to all of you, and you know who you are. So it was really kind of interesting. And by interesting, I mean just horrific. The one thing that I do is I try to keep a positive attitude in most things I do. And this has just been I will admit, this has probably been the most trying thing, that I've ever had to experience. And being in the military, I had a unique job for a part of the time, and then I've experienced some pretty horrible things in my life. But
sure.
This is just one of those things that was just really, very, very difficult on a physical and mental, emotional, spiritual basis. Just really difficult. But August 13th. No, August 12th, actually. And I believe that was a Friday. It started to rain here in the Baton Rouge area. I live outside Baton Rouge in a place called Denham Springs. For all intensive purposes, it's a suburb, sort of. Not really, but it's like a suburb of Baton Rouge. But it started to rain, and and it just wouldn't stop raining, and the streets of my subdivision, they started to get a little flooding, and the drains weren't quite working the way they normally do. And my work is calling in. They're like, calling. He's like, "Hey, are you guys gonna be able to come in?" And I'm like, "I can't get out of my neighborhood yet," And so, and then throughout the day, the wife and I are watching things, and she's concerned, and I'm not as concerned, and I guess that's just my nature.
Sure,
but,
sure.
Water started to rise, and it actually got up to our doorstep, and then then it stopped, and it kind of receded, and by the next morning, by that Saturday morning, it was completely gone. And
oh, wow.
We were like, oh, this is great. We really dodged this one, because we were getting very, very concerned.
Sure.
Backyard was completely flooded, water up to the doorstep, that kind of thing. And it was just completely receded. Well, we knew it was going to rain some more, and we had previously gotten some sandbags for the door areas, and we're getting out to go get some more because we didn't know what was going to happen. So,
sure.
So we get out, and we get on this road that we're going down, and there is just this stream, just a torrent of water rushing across it where we were going to drive through.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really going. And my wife and I, we looked at each other, and she said, "Let's turn around. Let's go back." So we came back home, and we decided that it was we weren't going to wait to see if things were going to get worse or better. We decided that while we got some time, we're going to get out of there.
Sure.
So we had a couple suitcases packed up from the night before, so we grabbed those. We put things that we thought were important, kind of up a little bit higher in some areas, on top of furniture, and maybe a couple things up in the attic and stuff like that. Grabbed our 3 dogs.
Wow.
I've got two. Yeah, I got two dachshunds. We call them wiener dogs, and I got a big wiener dog who's really just a mutt. She's more lab than anything else. I call her a black dog. So, but she thinks she's a wiener dog. But we grabbed them, and then the funny thing is that in my neighborhood, my in-laws live here, and if there's a lesson for anyone to learn, don't live 500 feet from your in-laws. So we went and we drove around and we got them, and they're from Pennsylvania, and they had just purchased their house in December. Yeah. And so we grabbed them and we got out, and we went through some pretty deep water, and we ended up getting on the interstate, and pretty soon the interstate was backed up, and there was water just all over across the interstate, and we knew that wasn't a good spot either. So right there, going on the eastbound side of the interstate, we turn around and start going westbound. And go the wrong way up an exit ramp just to get off the interstate, and then we ended up in this little town that's kind of next to us, and we couldn't go any farther. There was just water. That little area was kind of like a little island, and so we ended up spending the night in a shelter. It was a church shelter, and it was not real easy. It was real emotional. Of course, summertime in Louisiana, it's hot, it's sweaty, there's lots of mosquitoes. It's not real comfortable. Right. But I will tell you what, as awful as the time as I had, I'm so appreciative of that church there and what they offered us, because it was a place for us to kind of regroup a little bit. Sure. So we stayed there that night, and then about noon the next day, we got word that there was a road going north that we could get out, and then we could hit one of the interstates that goes north and south. Sure. So we took it, and we found our way out, and we ended up on I-55, and we just started heading north. And we stopped in Jackson, Mississippi, so that we could stay at a hotel for a few days. Sure. Meanwhile, I have a friend of ours, our neighbor. Him and his family weren't quite as lucky. They had to get pulled out by boat, and so he started sending us some pictures of some stuff of our house and the neighborhood, and and to us it looked like it was just all hope was just completely lost.
Well, yeah, then the emotional roller coaster that you go back and forth
really
over.
Tough, And but my poor wife, though, as distraught as she was, she had a plan. Mm-hmm. This was going to be a costly endeavor. We started calling, creditors and our insurance company and everything else. We're trying to hey, this is what's going on. Can you just give us a break for a month or two? These kinds of things. Some of them did, some of them didn't. But I will tell you, at that point in time, not one single one of them had. The people that we talked to had heard. It was hearing what was going on.
Oh, you're kidding! Wow.
No one even knew. We turned on the TV, and the only people that were reporting anything about it was the Weather Channel. National news, no nothing. It was just, and we were just flabbergasted, because this is, we're getting word that this is just huge, and when it was all said and done, there were about 130,000 homes that were affected by the flood. Countless other businesses, churches, schools, some of which, some of these buildings and homes will never come back, because people are just, they can't afford to do anything, and they're just walking away. Sure. So it was just, 130,000 homes. That's kind of a big deal to me.
That was part one of our member spotlight interview with DangerousDon. Part two will air on our next episode, which will be on December 12th, so please stay tuned for that. After the break, news and events around BadgerandBlade.com. Take a look at this.
Men, after every shave, you need new Ice Blue Aqua Velva, the aftershave lotion that's better for your skin. Aqua Velva cools away razor burn, soothes irritated skin, contains humectant, a skin conditioner that puts back skin moisture. Get new Ice Blue Aqua Velva in this handsome decanter bottle. You'll like its clean, manly scent. You'll hear 'em say,
"There's something about an Aquavelva man.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We certainly hope you're enjoying it so far. And now for some news and events around BadgerandBlade.com. Over in the soap forum, the December-themed shaves have started, so please get signed up for that. And for our members across the pond in the EU and UK, a shave soap pass-around has been started, so if you want to try out some soaps, please get signed up for that as well. In the haberdashery, keep an eye out for our annual Ugly Sweater Contest. Garrett is the current reigning champ, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of fun again this year. It usually starts around the beginning of December and runs through the month. In the Straight Razor Forum, we have our Race to the Finish Piff. David is offering 3 shave-ready gold dollar razors and an interesting way to win. If you're the 100th, 200th, or 300th post, you will take one of those fine razors home. Our December cookout in the mess hall is chili. No, we won't be getting into the debate on whether you like beans or not. Just head on over to the mess hall and check out all the wonderful recipes, pictures, and chili goodness that these cookouts offer. We'd like to welcome Adam Keendog to the Safety Razor Forum. He will be joining Ima Tabor as a steward, and that dynamic duo will have everything you need and all questions answered for your safety razor needs. Over in the darkroom, the Interaction November photo contest, the voting is underway, and there will be an announcement as to the winner of that, as well as the December contest announcement, so please check out the darkroom for that. In the brown leaf, we have the BL Secret Santa going on in the stock exchange. All the names have been picked, and Santa and his elves are busy interacting with those people that have been chosen. So please get your brown leaf badge. Check out the stock exchange. If you didn't get in on it this year, you can certainly do so next year. With it being Christmas means shopping, so make sure you check out our vendor section. Most of our vendors are going to be offering different specials throughout the holiday season, and why not support those vendors that support BadgerandBlade.com. Also, the Badger and Blade Marketplace is a great place to check out some gifts, as is the buy-sell trade, where you can get wonderfully quality items from other members. Well, that brings this episode to a close, and as always, we'd like to thank the moderators and stewards for all the hard work they do each and every day, the administrators and owners for bringing us this wonderful site, and most importantly, you, the members of BadgerandBlade.com, as you are the lifeblood of BadgerandBlade.com, and we appreciate your support. On the next episode, which will be on December 12th, we'll continue with our Part 2 episode of our member spotlight interview with DangerousDon. We hope you'll join us and have a wonderful, wonderful next couple of weeks. We'll see you then.